African condition will never be, we can never get out of our condition unless we polarize Saturn and Jupiter. The Sigi ceremony, and it had to be polarized in Africa by Africans. Even though we know that we are one people, that was just the particular part on which they had to get out of, which is also by us being one people. There's things that happen over in the West and things that happen in the East. But I'll go into some things that happen in the East. This is one of these. I'll give you one. Okay. This is when you be responsible for Xeroxing and give it to the other people. Yeah. Also, too, before I go into this, I got something on them. This is what came forth, and I hope this don't hurt anybody, but this is what came forth from the mothership. Was in order for the sisters to get on the mothership, they got to unleash the antennas of their head and take the perm out.
That's right.
Because that is the antennas.
That's right.
And this is the number 9 head. Even though this is done by Imam Esau, I give you one, and I give you. Even though this is done by Imam Esau, it is very valid. You got to take that out of the number 9. We was given the word 4 and 5. The numbers 4 and 5, and all. Well, you don't have enough. We're given the numbers 4 and 5 is 9.
Oh.
And we was given those numbers and told that the sisters have to decode it. Well, Sister Maya here is one of the people that brought it to my attention, and when we was talking and then it triggered, boom, this is what's it. I'll just, he'd be responsible.
Definitely.
I gave a lot of stuff out last night too at the ceremony. But Africa cannot be, let's say black people's condition, because we know we're talking about one people. We want to get out of just the thing, the Africa thing, because we're talking about one landmass, one people. And that's the goal we got to get back to, is we all are one. So, yeah, and I got one of those for you, Sister Maya. That's from Imam Esau, but it's very valid. Africa cannot be...
I need to stop you, but right here, you see how that hair is done right there?
Yeah.
The effigies, the little people that they dug out of the mound, have their hair just like this. We go there every during the night.
Is it 3 people? I got the original one right here, so now what we need is... Which one do you want? Because I know you was looking for something like this. Okay, that's it. That's the 2. Remember now, that's the manifestation of what we talked about. And that's the number 9 here, as you see. But you are right. But going back, the black race could not get out of the condition not unless Saturn and Jupiter was repolarized. And it said it must have been repolarized in Africa by Africans at this particular time, even though we have things we have to do in the West, because we want to get out of this whole thing, of this Africa thing, where we understand that the whole earth is ours. You understand? And one landmass before the sinking of Atlantis and Lemuria or whatever. But the Sigi ceremony was important because it was the Dogon tribe who was the descendants of the ancient Kemites. So this is going on that side of the Atlantic. And once they repolarized, they did it every 60 years. Last time they did it was, and I have the actual dates, was 1944 was the last time they did it. 1944. I think it was March 20th, 1944. And April 23rd of 1994 was completed the 60 year or the 50.9 years. Anyway, they repolarized Saturn and Jupiter Saturday. Now the cycle lasted from Saturday or either Friday up until yesterday, maybe today, because it's not by accident that we all here, because nothing happens by accident, and we need to get out of just thinking that everything is the way it is. Now, what this means is, it means 2 things. It means once this is repolarized, this is the birthday of Osiris, which is the Christ is lying dead in the Amenta. The Amenta is also the black dot. So now the black dot, since we all have the black dot, this particular ceremony is not just talking about one Christ figure that will come, even though you have certain Christ figures that will come to jumpstart the rest of the black people's brains. No, but they're talking about an entire race of people, you see. So based on the entire race of people who have the black dot, because the black dot, the melanin is called the great works, and it said in Esoteric it says the great works is one who rises themselves to a certain level of Christhood, or one who is born with the great works, which is actually melanin. Now, this particular cycle is talking about not just, they said that the birthday of Osiris. But Osiris is called Lord of the Perfect Black, which means Kim or Cam. So we're talking about black people also too, esoteric. So when they said the rising of the Christ and the rising of the Messiah based on the birthday of Osar, the birthday of Nomo, the Dogon Christ, who is in the representation of a fish, which is the same Christ figure, they're talking about the birthday of black people. So now this particular cycle is being repolarized. And like Sister Maya said, when I went up to Detroit, is white people was on it. Also, when I went up there, I met a guy. All things was revealed. I met a guy. He called Friday before I left out. Some guy that had this big fro. He had an afro since. He said he had his afro since the early 70s. And I said, so you mean you went through the 80s with an afro? I said, I know you got some really cute. I said, I know it's back in style now, but you mean to tell me you went through the 80s with the afro? He said, yeah. Anyway, this guy came, and this guy gave me a huge stack of papers and all kinds of things. These are these folders he gave me, and things that I had touched upon was revealed, also the documentation. Like the number 9 headed, we concluded last week before we left. Last Monday before we left, we had a meeting. Then I get a paper with the number 9 headed. I concluded when we left that everybody needed to meditate on Saturday or be in some type of conscious position where you're thinking something outside of the normal white knife stuff.
We did it, and I didn't even know this, but I told my people they had to do this.
Yes, right. So they had to meditate on Saturday or do some type of thing.
Let me know.
Right.
I had to tell the people they had to meditate Saturday.
Right. And so I went up and I did my meditation, and as a matter of fact, then this paper was revealed with the documents, which is bearing witness also. So now, what's happening is two things, and that's what's happening on the western side, on the eastern side. The western side is we have unleashed the native spirit. We don't want to say Native American, but that's native Satanists, if we want to say that. We want to say indigenous native, native westerner.
Indigenous ancient spirit.
Ancient spirit. We went on the Pinson Mounds, and Sister Maya here was gracious enough to go. This is Sister Mintu, my spiritual half. That came into my life about a couple months ago. Anyway, but the deal is we went to the mounds and took a group of people down. On Saturday the 9th after the 8th, we had a cycle between the 8th, between the 4th and the 10th. On the 9th, we met up with a Native American, a native indigenous spirit, ancient spirit called Thunderdog, which is also, I've been indicated, as a form of Obatala, Heru, and just a form of the Christ. Also Thunderdog, and also that dog means the dog star also too. And Sebek, which is Sebek, or Anpu, which is Sebek is Anpu, which is the actual Anubis, Anpu, that dog you see, which is symbolized as the color. The ears are gold and the body is black. The black and gold is also called the sun in Sirius. The sun in Sirius also Jah, which is a form of the Christ. The sun in Sirius. Atan is a form of the sun in Sirius, the black and gold. You see, so and also Ra is a part of that. So now, we met up with this particular Native American spirit, and they said that we needed to make a union with them because they said that their spirits was our spirits.
Before, on my way to Detroit, when I left home, I had to go up in the Ozarks to meet with Dr. Bowen, who is a nurse. And during that time, we had a meeting where the ancients red and the ancient black had to come together.
Right.
I just wanted to.
And it's funny you said that. And this is just what this channel to me, because I got some articles and some stuff called the ancient, it's called the Black and Red Temples of Atlantis. It deals with that particular stuff also too. So they said that we had to have a union, so we had to build an altar. And they suggested.
Hold it again. While I was in Detroit, I got the paper of the union, which at some time I want to show you all. Then when I came here, Sister Grace, a little girl, had told me I was going to meet Grace, and I was going to get another piece. I got the other piece from Sister Grace. And it's just been so miraculous how the pieces is falling together and how the knowledge and information is falling together spiritual until I knew last night we should meet. And when I got here, we was talking about going down to Omar's. And I said, well, they need to come here. Because when I got here, I met a spirit in this room that we have angels around us now.
Yes, we do.
Dimension 2. Angels around us. I said, I can't leave here because this is what the presence is.
That's funny. Because they instructed us to make the union was to build a temple in your house, an altar. And in that altar, you were supposed to take something wooden. It's got to be something wooden. If it's a table or anything, it's got to be wooden. It can't be,
gotta be
plastic.
natural.
It's got to be natural. If it's a dresser drawer, if it's wooden, fine. And you take a yellow cloth, which has got to be, the yellow material that you take has got to be either cotton or linen. It's got to be a natural fiber.
Okay, let me tell you about that. In Detroit, when I was there 3 weeks ago, I was given this linen, which is supposed to be 200 or 300 years old. I got it back in the car because I wrapped new papers. I said, I'm going to put all this old stuff together. I wrapped it in. What time we going to stop? I don't like to miss nothing, so I can go out here and bring these things.
No, just, that's it.
Well, don't say nothing. Please, give my keys. You got it.
Ain't that something? Free Detroit. Isn't that something? Isn't that something?
But you know, remember it was the altar of atonement too. To remember it was the altar of atonement too, to correct the injustices.
That's it. Exactly. I was going to explain that to her too. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So we got to build these altars. I'll tell you what to do because I even told the people in New York to build an altar, and God knows they need one in New York because the building there, there's no trees, no nothing. You just straight up.
I went to her house but on Saturday about 7 p.m. Two like brothers cremated, and his nephew took his remains out the oven and sprinkled them over the church. That's where we wanted to go on the farm. It was awesome. Too much.
Now, the linen you see, if you feel it, you'll find out. You'll never see linen like that. It's like a table linen, a shroud linen. Take it over.
We can put that on the ground.
You want the briefcase on the
That's the
floor?
Yeah, you
paper.
can put that on. Oh, those are all the papers.
That's
Can I
the old
put this on the?
Yeah, you can put it on the floor.
Grace brought. Now, you might
Oh,
want
yeah.
to look at the union paper. You're going to have to, somebody's going to have to, the union paper. Where is the black? Did I bring the black bag? It's very old, and it's very delicate. And
Thank you, brother.
I would do, just spread it out and begin looking.
You
And
got
I'm,
some.
Alphabet Church. All right. That's good.
and I'm going to show you some of the buildings, how people purchased.
In a way, you would think that if you just go by the history that the Cracker gives us, you would think the black people didn't do anything.
Look, that's one of our buildings. I know I have the bottom of it, but that's one of our buildings. But taking the fact I drive the car blind, so that's all right too. This is one of our buildings from back in 1902. Somebody want to hold it, you want to get pictures of this.
If you can hold those up, yeah, that'll be great.
I
I'm
need to
zooming
get you
in.
in touch with a brother that I met up in
This.
Chattanooga that is already tapped into some ancient black people of Chattanooga.
That's one of our buildings, and let's see if I can find another one. This is one. I think that's the most beautiful building.
And that was back in 1908, 1910.
In 1910. We owned this in 1910 through the church. And there's another beautiful building here. And in fact, it's several beautiful, this beautiful building that's black owned and controlled. That's one of the black queens. And
If somebody can hold up a picture of Prophet Evans, I think Brother Hemmitt's got him over there.
Right here.